Secrets of Happy People, Episode 22, Borrowing from Tomorrow's Joy. His name was Eke, a young man of about 21, good-looking, personable, and happy. He seemed always cheerful and upbeat. Eke was a mechanic. In my mid-teens, I was already a driver, a damn good one, I'd say. I was a driver to my uncle, to my mother, and occasionally to my father. You could call me their official auxiliary driver. I was always there when the main driver was not. But the story here is not about my driving, but about an encounter while fixing cars at mechanics. This is how I got to meet Eke. He was a most diligent and honest worker, almost a master at his craft in my view. Yet he was only an apprentice. Eke and I became friends, and I got to learn how Spartanly he lived his life. He owned only a pair of trousers and a shirt that he wore to church on Sundays. The rest were dirty, greasy rags that he used for his work. Eke barely had regular food to eat, yet he always ensured that his master's food was bought from the finest food sellers around, and of course heaped appropriately. He seemed to do all with tremendous love. But Oke's master was a slave driver, I might suggest, from what I saw. All his other apprentices grumbled bitterly behind him, but never Eke. He was such a jolly good fellow that I really grew fond of. One day I asked him about his joyousness. He looked at me surprised. From his look, I concluded that perhaps he was not even conscious of the happy aura he carried with him. I explained what I meant. He glanced at me again. This time I could read his thoughts. He was wondering what a privileged child in a proper school wanted to learn from an illiterate apprentice mechanic like him. I pressed on until he stingily volunteered a few words. Not being sure if they would satisfy me, though. He basically said that he was happy to serve his master and that he was happy to make the necessary sacrifices in the course of the service. He said he was sure that at the end of it all, his master would set him up in business and he would have the chance to put both his character learning and technical lessons acquired from years of apprenticeship to good use and possibly become as rich and prosperous as his master. The point I understood him to be making was that as long as his vision was fastened upon the outcome, it was easy for him to endure the necessary pains and sacrifices on his way there. I do not know where Eke is today or how well he has done for himself, but I have noticed this perspective amongst many happy people I know today. The anticipated joy of whatever outcomes they are pursuing helps them cheerfully bear the current pains with grace and happiness. They remain happy in spite of tedious work and sacrifice, not because they enjoy them as such, but because of the joy cascading from the steadfast vision of the future rewards, which are exciting enough to numb the pains of the moment. They are able to carry themselves with cheerfulness and happiness thus. The models of this happy endurance, if I might call it that, are everywhere. Notice it amongst parents sweetly laboring to put their kids through school. Notice it amongst women carrying their pregnancies with joy. Notice it amongst students burning the midnight oil cheerfully. The list goes on. They borrow from the joys of tomorrow to live out the pains of today in happiness. This is the way of happy people.